In Northwest news, a $1 billion shortfall could expand by $300 million. A coalition that controls the Washington State Senate is vowing to increase funding for higher education by $300 million. Senate leaders declined to explain how they would pay for the proposal. Lawmakers already face more than a $1 billion shortfall in the next two-year budget cycle and are separately under court order to expand funding for K-12 education. Republican Senator Michael Baumgartner says it's possible to write a budget that balances state spending while increasing funding for state colleges and universities. He says it will be a matter of prioritizing where government dollars go. The senators also proposed to require a 3% reduction in tuition for in-state students. They also say this will help manage the long-term financial concerns in the state's prepaid tuition program. The aircraft carrier Ronald Reagan left Puget Sound and is headed back to San Diego. The ship departed Bremerton on Monday after a 14-month, $218 million maintenance and upgrade stop at the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. Commander Kevin Stevens of Naval Air Forces Pacific told the Kitsap Sun the Reagan isn't scheduled to deploy for some time due to federal budget considerations. A Yakima church is hosting gun classes to help members feel more comfortable using weapons to protect themselves and their homes. Open Bible Christian Center Pastor Mike Lyon says the idea came from discussions in which women said they weren't entirely comfortable using guns their husbands bought for them. The Yakima Herald Republic reports classes include discussions on responsible gun ownership and scenarios where guns might be used in self-defense. On the shooting range, targets simulate gun-toting bad guys and innocent bystanders, and the shooters are taught the importance of keeping a cool head. The Seattle City Council says police and other departments must obtain the council's approval before using certain cameras and drones for surveillance. The council passed an ordinance yesterday in response to concerns over 34 cameras that were installed across the city without public notice. The council says it will review camera operations and data management to protect the public privacy and civil liberties. An exemption to the new law allows police to use surveillance technology under a search warrant. The owner of a derelict barge that required a $22 million cleanup after oil spilled into the Columbia River near Camas has been sentenced to 4 months in prison. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Seattle said Brett Simpson of Ellensburg was also sentenced yesterday to 8 months of home detention. He earlier pleaded guilty to 2 criminal violations of the Clean Water Act. Simpson admitted he was informed about fuel oil and diesel left on the Davy Crockett before salvage operations began. However, prosecutors say he failed to have the oil removed before workers began cutting up the metal barge for scrap. When the first oil spilled in December of 2010, prosecutors say Simpson failed to notify authorities and failed to adequately monitor and protect the barge. In January, Washington officials announced they were fining Simpson and his company $405,000. Twinkies are set to return to Grant County, along with Ding Dongs and Wonder Bread. A bankruptcy judge has approved the sale of Twinkies to a pair of investment firms. Hostess Brands, Inc. is selling the spongy yellow cakes, along with other snacks, including Ding Dongs and Ho-Hos, to Apollo Global Management and Metropolis and Company for $410 million. Metropolis, which owns Pabst Beer, has said it hopes to have the cakes back on shelves by this summer. The judge also approved the sale of Wonder Bread and other breads to Flowers Foods, which makes tasty cakes. Flowers will also get Nature's Pride, Butternut, and Home Pride as part of the $360 million deal. That's going to do it for us here at iFIBER 1 News. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow night.